So one of the things you mentioned earlier, one of the best ways a man could get more to his masculine side is by taking some cave time, and that's the lesson I really took away from your first book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Can you kind of just explain what that is and how that works?
Yeah, there's a see the male side of us. Anybody who's married to a man or knows a guy, if you're talking about a problem, he's going to jump in there and give a solution. It's like, well, you ought to do this, or you ought to do this, or why are you upset about that? And if you're trying to give a woman what she needs at that time, unless she's actually wanting you to solve the problem, what she's really looking for is someone who will help her understand, who will understand what she's going through, and empathy, a more compassionate response rather than a quick fix. Now, so that's what women are needing, and men will solve that problem. So we like to solve problems. What produces testosterone is whenever you're feeling confident or successful in solving problems. Now, doing that will keep your testosterone up. Like I go to a job, I'm doing my job now, my testosterone kicks into gear, high dopamine levels right now, uh, maybe even a little adrenaline. And then, but my testosterone is high, so I have a feeling of well-being. If I felt anxiety, worry, doubt, then my estrogen levels would be rising. Emotions is estrogen. So if I'm accomplished and I'm very confident, then the only emotions that come up for me is happiness and joy. Okay, then I'm in balance with my estrogen. But still, having produced and used, I'm using testosterone during the day. I need to rebuild that testosterone at the end of the day. It's a cycle of action and then rest and relaxation. In a sense, it's a cycle of action and actually distraction. Distraction from anything that might causes stress to me. It should only be what I enjoy doing that's also testosterone producing. Now, the challenge is I enjoy being with my wife and my children, whatever, but that's not necessarily testosterone producing because I love them so much. See, love is estrogen producing. So I can love my computer, I can love my car, I can love my exercise, my weight. These are all like going to generate testosterone. If I just sit and watch the news, that's a big testosterone producer for men. They always has been this way. Or we're just in the old days, you just stare into the fire and not think about your problems. Buddha taught in meditation is to forget your problems. Men by instinct will tend to do this. And then psychology is telling us, oh, you need to talk about your problems. No, you don't. You need to forget your problems. That's what the cave time is. So if I'm watching the news or a football game or playing a video game, I'm doing that to forget my problems. Now, see, women don't need to forget their problems. This is why they have a problem with us being in our cave, is because they feel ignored, neglected, and they feel like you don't love me, you don't want to share yourself with me. Because the instinct in a woman, when she feels safe and loved by a man, she wants to undress. She wants to share, not just physically undress. She wants to open her heart. She wants to open her mind. And when you share what's inside of you with somebody else, not trying to change them, but you're just sharing, that produces estrogen. That's why we have an industry, which is massive industry of coaches and counselors and people like that. And 90% of the people that go are women. They're the ones that really value it the most because what they'll do is they'll go and they'll talk about their problems. And just talking about problems can raise estrogen levels, which is what women need most. It's the super estrogen producer, is to feel I can be vulnerable, I could cry, I could share a fear, an insecurity, a doubt, or a selfish jealousy, and somebody's not going to be judgmental of me or talk me out of it. And I have to give a little correction. When I said 90% of the people go to therapists are women, that's true with therapists. Now, coaches a little bit differently. Coaches have women and men because in coaching, a lot of the emphasis is on, okay, what's your goal? What's getting in the way? And let's be accountable to achieve that goal. So you'll get more men going for coaching because, football players, basketball players, they all get coached. There's no sort of, I really need help. I just need accountability, show up, and somebody might tweak what I'm doing, sort of see what I'm doing. So that's a dynamic. But the big aha was for me was 40 years ago, where if I gave solutions to women in counseling, they didn't come back. And when I decided I'm going to do an experiment and not say you ought to do this, you ought to do this, you're misunderstanding. Instead, just asking more questions, the women would come back and they tell their friends. And then I had a waiting list long before I was the famous Men Are From Mars guy. I was very successful as a therapist because I would postpone giving suggestions and solutions, particularly when a woman is upset. You want to take time to not just listen to her, but to ask a kind of question that allows her to go deeper into her emotions. For she's angry, you listen to that, and then you kind of go, now, what was your disappointment? What was your expectation? And they talk a little bit about that, and the tone will slow down. And then you say, and what's your concern? What's your fear? And then they start to share fear. The anger's gone. The sadness is gone. You see, there's levels of depth, and a good therapist can take you to those levels of depth. And why do you need a good therapist to do that? Because you don't know how to do it unless you read my books, which will teach you how to do it.
Right.